welcome back. I'm Carmen, and this is Comix. We are back with another episode for you. As you can tell, I am your host for the night, and joining us as usual, here are our hosts, or my co-hosts, actually.
Hey, I'm Ash.
What's going on, everybody? It's Esteban.
And I'm Andres.
And that is all of us for this week. Luis will not be here with us today, but he will definitely be missed. And with that said, Mr. Ash, you have drink of the week today. What are you drinking?
I feel like Luis shouldn't have claimed West Side when he was on the East Side during vacation. That's how you get shot.
You're stupid.
He recovers, and he'll be back next week, and hopefully he knows to shut his mouth. So I have the Deftones. I think I brought another Deftones one prior. So I got this other Deftones one by Belching Beaver Ceremony, and it's a double dry hopped IPA, hazy IPA. So I'm gonna go ahead and open it because I wanted to open it for the show. It's pretty good. I like it. It's probably something I would nurse the whole night. Meaning like because it's so thick, it's something
I would say that just by knowing you, I knew you weren't gonna be like head over heels with it. You don't seem like much of the IPA guy, which isn't a bad thing. It's a acquired taste. But that would be I guess lighter fare since it's a hazy. It wouldn't be as like bitter, but it does have bitter quality to it. So
yeah, I'm so glad when I have the drink you're on, because you're able to say kind of what's in my head. You know, it's pretty much Corona light for me, and I'm good because it's just whatever keeps the shot smooth. But like with this would be something that would be like I don't know. I kind of like I enjoy it. I don't drink it to like slam it down like I would a regular domestic beer. You know what I mean? Like this would be like my all-nighter, like to sip. Like I couldn't do like a whole 6-pack of it. But it's really good. I like the taste. I really, really do. Plus it's one of my favorite bands. And I'm not letting
Did you say what was the percentage? I'm sorry. I don't know.
I didn't say that at all. So I said that whole paragraph and you didn't. Thanks. 6.5 alcohol.
That's not bad.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay. Well, cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And then
I know you were really good at cheers. Cheers.
I did, and then I was like, well, I can't really cheers, but I could. Moving right along, we had a recommendation of a show for this week, and since Luis is not joining us, we will be talking about it next show. He will give us his thoughts, but just as a reminder, if anybody else has not watched it, Ash, tell us what your recommendation was for Luis.
My recommendation was Reservoir Dogs. I think I said it last week, but just in case, I try to come up with things so that it's not always like Esteban and Andreas versus Carmen and Luis or whatever combination. So I try to make it as random as possible. So things only make sense in my head. Like whatever of the four people, like these two did a tag team, or this guy was in this movie and this guy was in this other movie, but they did this movie together. I try to make it make sense, at least to me. So when I said Mr. Blue, Mr. Pink, Mr. Orange, Mr. White, everybody made their choice but Luis, and he said, I'll take whoever's left. And I was like, oh, you should have been Mr. Pink on principle. But anyway, Mr. Pink being the reference in the why am I Mr. Pink? That could get us dicey and canceled, but either way, that's why I chose it for him.
So I know we got a little bit of a preview of what he thought. I won't spoil it for anyone, so watch next week's episode and he will definitely let us know, but it's good.
You know, it's weird.
Yeah.
it's weird because like Fringe and Reservoir Dogs, it sucks because this movie's been out for years, or these shows have been out for fucking decades, and you're talking to the people who have watched the show with like glee and excitement, and they're like, yeah, I know, I've seen it. Like, so when he, no spoilers, but when he talked to us about us, or talked to us about it, we were like, yeah, I know. It was like, so like heartbreaking.
We were like, you're welcome. So then that falls on me for the recommendation of a show or a movie for the upcoming week. And so I totally forgot that Andres wasn't gonna be on the next week's show. So spoiler alert.
No. I could film it. I could have it filmed.
Okay. Hopefully you haven't seen the show, because I may have a feeling that you may have. So we'll see. It is called High Fidelity.
The show, but I've been meaning to get to it.
On Hulu?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's my recommendation for you. I think you'll quite enjoy it a lot, actually. It has to do a lot with music, and so that seems like to be right up your alley. And as I was watching the show, I thought that you might enjoy the show just because of the music references to it. And so hopefully you enjoy it. Oh,
sure, I will. I love the movie so much, so I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy the show as well.
Christine,
and also
let's talk. I love that scene.
The show has made me fall in love with Zoe Kravitz,
yeah.
which she's a beautiful actress. But just the way that she's in the show, it's another side to an actress that I've not seen before, at least not from her. So if anybody's interested in watching it, that'd be awesome. Ash, your thoughts?
Separate from the show, or is it they play his daughter, or is it, I mean, it's separate from the movie, I mean, or is it just like the genre? I don't want to say genre. Is the idea, what am I trying to say?
It's the idea.
Yeah, right. It's not like Jack Black and that other guy, like top 5 albums.
That Don Cusack?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Well, that's what I was referring to when I said fucking bitch. I please know that that's what. It's a quote from the movie. It has
some elements of that, but it's done in a different way. So, watch it. It's a good show.
Debbie doing it, right?
Just like that, yes.
Top 5 Backstreet
happening. So that's the recommendation. And then now moving on to comments. We always appreciate hearing from you guys. And since Luis usually takes care of those, this time Esteban is going to do the honors in reading your feedback or what you have let us know thus far. So, whoa, what was that?
What?
I don't know, but yeah, exactly. That's what my brain is saying right now. What? But Esteban, please go ahead.
All right. So, like Carmen was saying, this is the part of the show where we get to interact with you, with all of our fans. So please, whenever we post anything, share it, comment, like it, or even send us an email, on our Gmail. You can go ahead and email us at the podcastcomics@gmail.com. And we actually got our first email from one of our loyal fans. It was Zach, who actually sent us an email, and it says on here, "Hello, Comics Podcast. Happy 1-year anniversary. Love your podcast and wouldn't know how to survive the week without it. Ash, you always know how to put on a great game show, and thank you so much for letting us fans be a part of it." So well done, Ash, on the games.
Yeah.
What's that?
I didn't see that email.
No, yeah. And then he also said a quick word regarding Marvin, who passed recently, as Ash, Esty, and Heavyweight are spot on regarding on how awesome of a person Marvin was, and overall a good man. I will always remember him coming into work at the bank on Saturdays in his faded, worn Marvin the Martian t-shirt. He loved that shirt. You will be missed, brother. Rest in peace. He also said, chilaquiles. My favorite is the red, but I will eat either one. It is one of my favorite breakfast items, along with traditional eggs Benedict.
No.
And then he moves on to the Wheel of Morality is good, but Fiero's Ferris Wheel of Doom is better.
This is going to be a debate forever. One, we need to put the green chili to the red chili to the test, and we do this thing right, and we
blindfold. Yeah, blindfold and then taste test.
I don't trust Andreas putting anything in my mouth.
You didn't say anything last time.
One, I was drunk.
You still said yes.
I never said.
And you enjoyed it.
You did. We all distinctly heard a after.
Exactly.
It was.
I don't know. I think, is the red spicy? I think that's why I'm like.
It depends. It depends on how it's made. Sometimes it's spicy. Sometimes it's not spicy.
Okay. What's the thing with egg and cheese, and it's a green thing in the middle?
Green eggs and ham? What?
No, it's help me. I used to eat around it. I used to eat the egg and cheese, but not the green thing until I realized I really liked it because I always thought it was spicy.
Green thing.
Chili rellenos?
Avocado?
Chile relleno.
Yeah, chili rellenos.
Oh, those are bomb, dude.
Yes.
I know. I eat
But
around
the
it.
egg is inside? It's not around the chili?
No, it was around. I would eat around the chili. I would eat the egg.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So I happened to get the green once, and I was like,
hey, that's not that bad.
I was missing out.
Those
How are you?
I'm very single. Anyway, so that was his comment. That was pretty cool. Is there more? I'm sorry.
No, there is more. What were you gonna say, Andres?
by the way, ladies, as he said, he's very single. So, but yeah,
you saw what he can do. He also said, I'm not sure if it was episode 51 or 52, but you guys had a brief discussion about video games and consoles. I just so happened to be going through my boxes in storage due to moving recently and found all my old gaming consoles and accessories. I wanted to provide some pics. We'll go ahead and throw up in the show later when you guys will end up seeing it. Okay. Let's see. And then he says, my original Game Boy, Genesis with 32X attachment, Genesis games, and the Genesis gun called the Macer. Dude, that gun sucked. Anyways, you all have a great weekend, and I'm looking forward to season 2 of Comix podcast. Check you later, Z.
The 32X thing is that big ass converter thing that went on top of your Genesis, right? That was
I think so, yeah.
Right? Yeah. I didn't see much of it. Maybe it ran a little faster, but I don't remember it being like. Oh.
I never had a Genesis. I had a Super Nintendo or Nintendo, so I never had Genesis.
Never knew Genesis had a gun.
I never knew Genesis had a gun either.
Yeah, I never knew that either. The only thing that I remember was Super Scope. Do you guys remember Super Scope? Yeah, that's the only thing I remember that had it. I mean, obviously, aside from the duck hunt gun, but that was pretty much it. You know.
Have you ever experienced? Okay, you know how those people like get up to the real
to the screen?
Yeah, and they still miss.
Yeah.
There was another game, since we're talking about games, that I really liked. It was called
Hooligan's Holiday. That's what Martin Cruz on. Hooligan's Alley? Hogan's Alley. Something like Hogan's Alley, I think.
It's Hogan.
Yeah.
But since I was interrupted, anyway.
Sorry, I thought that you were going.
Kidding. There was this game called Bayou Billy, which would be like a side-scrolling, and then you switch to the gun, so it changed like modes, which was very, very enjoyable.
So, Sideshow Billy?
No, Bayou Billy.
Oh. Samsonite. I was way off.
It's all about Sunset Riders.
Never played that. So
Very fun.
Yeah. It was at a time with like Turtles in Time and fucking Simpsons. When it was like a 4-person instead of just one-on-one, it was like a 4-person, everybody worked together.
Okay.
I am that old lady meme where it's like, I swear there was a band called Red Hot Chili Peppers.
All right, Grandpa. Time to take your medicine. All right. Moving on to our comments on YouTube. All these comments are in reference to episode 52. So
I love saying that, by the way, because it makes me feel issue 52 or the new 52. It makes me 52. Feel
yeah, I can see that. Let's see. So what? Shut
up, I swear.
Trying to do the fucking comments, asshole. So, all right. So going to Heavyweight. Heavyweight said, did you know in Squid Games, a South Korean woman who was indicted under thousands of prank calls and texts after her phone number was shown on the hit show? So now Netflix has decided to change the scene, and the show, the phone number and the edited phone number are out. Did you guys know that? Have you guys been watching Squid Game? No.
I was told to start next week or last week, but I was all brave, and then I kind of thought maybe it's going to be a little gory, but I'll be good. I'll watch it.
Midnight Mass. Go watch. That's what I've been watching. Midnight Mass.
I started Midnight Mass, and I'm. Huh?
Well, you just finished it fast, so we can talk about it.
Yes, sir. Right away, sir.
But you're talking shit about fucking Midnight Mass.
Well, by far, Midnight Mass is by far superior than What If.
I agree.
Oh.
I haven't even seen it yet. I only saw this devil this whatever outside the church thing. This gift they keep showing, and I'm like, I want to see it. I love the imagery, but I just get all like dead.
There is a lot of religion in it, so if you're squeamish about your faith or former faith, I would say probably not for you. There is some gore, but it's not bad. It's like blood, some killing here and there. Nothing terrible that I don't think you could handle. There is that creature that I can't discuss. So
I like that. I like the gif of it. The gif, whatever the fuck it is. I like that.
Yeah. I'll end up finishing it this weekend. So he also said, let's see, Heavyweight also did say Squid Games. Did you notice as the beds were removed, all the games that they played were on the wall, and the main character's death was foreshadowed? I.e., spoiler warning if you guys have not seen Squid Game yet, or if you guys don't want to see Squid Game.
Yeah, you just ruined it. Thanks.
Oh, sorry. Way to go, Heavyweight.
To look for.
And then he goes, he also said, great show in games. It's difficult to express how I feel about my brother, friend, and half, as he would call him, or half of Dark Temptation. Marvin is a great man, son, and husband. When all of us were working together, Marvin and Marcus called themselves Dark Temptation. So yeah,
and it would suck all the time because, hey Marcus, Marvin, hey Marvin, Marcus, like
that was just you, dude. That was just you.
Oh, it was not just me.
Yeah, it was just you.
No,
that was just you.
Hey Ash, why couldn't you be in Dark Temptation? They didn't have.
I don't know. I didn't even know about this. He's saying it right in front of me, like, oh, I wasn't a part of it. Like,
damn, son.
Well, look, I know Heavyweight's going to be listening, but Heavyweight, if you can weigh in on why his application wasn't accepted into Dark Temptation. I think we all want to know. America wants to know.
America wants to know.
We do want to know.
Because they're probably like Dark Temptation, like fucking H-Town, which is an old reference. And it's like, hi guys, I'm in Dark Temptation. Like, you know what I mean? I would nerd that shit up.
That would be you.
It would be me.
That would be you.
Like, bringing their little brother everywhere. Fuck yeah.
All right. And this next comment is coming from Vanessa Ayala. She commented, okay, I've commented about red chilaquiles in another episode. LOL. Those are my favorite Mexican dish. There used to be a place called Moles Latias in East LA.
Yeah, I love mole. I used to love, since she's gonna get to why.
They had the best chilaquiles, but they closed. Chicharron burritos from Lupe's Burritos in East Los, spicy AF too. I can talk food all day. LOL. Then she comments on her own comment. P.S. I make the best red chilaquiles. So there you go, Ash.
Was that an invitation, Vanessa? I feel like now we have to.
I feel like now she has to be part of it. We have to find somebody that makes good green chilaquiles, and then we could.
Those moles.
Maybe not.
Fucking awesome. That would have like a ton of different. Basically a mole restaurant, and then it have different flavors, but they had some of the horchata, and it wasn't like the regular rice. They would make it out of almond, and then put the pitaya on top. Oh, fucking good. But speaking of which, she said that talking about chilaquiles, there is a restaurant that I used to go a lot with a mutual friend of Esteban and I's, Sam. Called La and they would have chilaquiles there. But they'd have this habanero salsa that you'd put on top that was really spicy, and they were good, but they have odd hours. And yeah, so it's fairly close to where Moles La Tia used to be. So that'd be an awesome place to check out.
Right on. Very cool.
The hotter the better when you eat.
It depends. Like that is a good hot where it's like, yeah, most people get scared away because it's habanero, but it's not that hot. It's kind of like a little vinegary, so it kind of cancels some of the heat out. So it's really flavorful and it's got some spice. So yeah.
No, because when we were doing the spice challenge, like it would be us dying, and you would be like, "That's a little hot," and we'd be all freaking sweating.
I sweat like that, so I could handle the heat to a point, but I do sweat like that. That is no lie. Like I will like, and it's worse when it's like a spicy hot, because then the top of your scalp starts and it just like flushes your fucking face. Like that's what I do. So I could handle the hot with some consequences later, but I fucking pour sweat like a motherfucker. So yeah, I like spicy food, but if it's that hot, it's just mainly for the challenge. Like I'm not adding that stuff to my food daily.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's see, and then Vanessa also commented. She's saying "Wheel of Misfortune," and she puts the rock on symbol 3 times. The whole point of the wheel is the misfortune. Also, what the hell, Luis? Hadn't seen Reservoir Dogs yet?
What the fuck?
I know, yeah. Yeah, it was pretty bad. All right, so that wraps up the YouTube comments, and now jumping over to Instagram. We only got a couple on here on Instagram. One of them was a skit that Ash ended up mashing together. It was called Cameron's Bad Day, right? If I'm not mistaken, Cameron's Bad Day.
Comment on that? Was the promote on Dick Records or something?
No, not that one. It's actually from Heavyweight. It says, "Why is she mad when she has a whole man asleep right beside her?" And he puts the laughing emoji on there. Another comment. We actually, what I've been posting recently, I've been taking little snippets of the show, the drink recommendation primarily, and just highlighting the drink recommendation. So if anyone's interested, and just checking out what we've been drinking throughout these last 52 episodes, you guys can go ahead and take a look at them. I'm dropping them daily, on there. And one of them, on a comment again from Heavyweight, was the Jose Cuervo that Ash was drinking. I think it was like early on in the season. And
it just ripped me apart.
Well, we both did, but more so Andres. But he heavyweight commented gold on your insides and the laughing emojis. Because Carmen asked, is it the silver or the gold? And you said, oh, it's the silver. It's a silver for the drink, but my insides are gold.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I gotcha.
I drink a lot, so I don't know any of my jokes.
Wow. All right.
I don't remember anything past when I said it.
Yeah. And let's see. So there was another one, and this is going to be the last comment, and I think we're actually all pretty proud of this one. This was the drink of the day, where Andres was drink of the day, and it was from Creative Creature Brewing. It was the Imperial Stout, the Strawberry Imperial Stout. It had Jar Jar Binks on the cover. We ended up tagging Creative Creature Brewing, and they actually liked our comment and they gave us the praise hand. So we thank you so much, Creative Creature Brewing, for giving us the little love. So thank you, everybody. Those are the comments for this week. Thank you, everybody, for commenting. Give us a like, share. We got all of our information in our links, in our bios on Instagram. Or if you guys just want to drop us an email, feel free. So Carmen, back to you.
Also, I think that if they want, hold that thought. If they want to recommend a drink for us to have that they think that we would enjoy, I think that you guys should leave a comment. I think that would be interesting. And, if it's available around our area, we would love to go and get it and shout it out. And then because you recommended it, then we'll also be giving you a shout out. Ash, yes?
Exactly what you said. And then I was gonna also, if there's anything you would like us to present to everyone, like Zach is presenting these pictures that we're gonna present on the show, please use the email, and I've given it wrong once already. So
it's the podcast Comix, and that's Comix with an X @gmail.com.
Please no dick pics.
Sorry, the show is clearly for everybody, and you guys are. It's honestly almost like we're so lucky to host everything, but it's really you guys that make everything. So thank you, and you guys have added stuff, which is videos, likes, comments. It may sound like the same people, but at the same time, you guys are the show. So fucking, it's for us. We love it. So sorry, Andres. Go ahead.
No, I said please. I said please no dick pics, and then I was gonna mention something else afterwards, but I forgot. Oh no, I remember. We're owe somebody a drink challenge. Since the 7's back down, we could actually fulfill that.
Yeah. The drink challenge.
Melissa.
Yes, I have that. When we brought up the salsa thing, that's what I was gonna bring up.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember somebody saying they weren't down, so I wanted to bring that up. But everybody's cool to do the. I'm gonna throw up on camera if I have. Not if I have to. No, if I have to. I'm not gonna make myself. But if it's gonna, I can't handle a fart in the same room, so it's gonna be weird to taste something. But I will throw up in a trash can. For you,
America.
Only for you.
I'll go.
America.
I'll get the little shot glasses, and then I will get your addresses and drop it off.
Or we can all get together and
take the shot together.
And take the shot together.
In front of you guys.
Why not? I've seen you throw up.
You have Thor 2 or 1?
It was Iron Man 3.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Can you please elaborate on this?
What?
Yes, I can elaborate on this. Yes, I can. What's up, Andres?
I was just gonna say my opinion of him is not gonna change either, plus or minus.
So story goes, Ash ended up buying tickets to go see Iron Man 3. And he told me, he goes, hey, I got an extra ticket. Do you want to come with Andy and myself to go see Iron Man 3? And he goes, it's going to be in your neighborhood. So, we'll go check it out up there. And it's all right, cool. And he goes, well, we'll get something to eat before the show. Like I'll leave right after work and, I'll meet up with you. I go, okay, cool. So then we ended up going to the Elephant Bar in West Covina, which sadly is no longer there. It is now a Chick-fil-A there.
They went bankrupt, son.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So we were there. We grabbed some food. We were waiting on Andy because Andy took forever that day. And I told him, I go, all right, dude, we got to go. We only got like 10 minutes to get to the theater. Now, granted, the theater is like walking distance, so he had his Corona and I go, come on, man, let's go, drink your drink. And he goes, I can't chug. And I go, what do you mean you can't chug? And I took down my beer and I said, all right, let's go, man. We got to go.
Like, give me, fuck that noise. That shit was fucking a Stein. Like, it wasn't like all like a little Corona. Like, it was like that. And when I eat, I don't fucking drink and eat. So it was kind of like, so it was like this much left. And it was like, chug, like you said. And then, of course, peer pressure. I do it. And then go ahead.
So he chugs it. And then we start power walking, from Elephant Bar to the theater. And then I'm getting ahead and I hear him stop. He goes, wait. And I go, what? And I turn around and I look and he up chucks. Okay. He ends up throwing up. And at the time, the Elephant Bar had like these little lawn lights. Okay. these little lawn lights. So I want you to picture this. Okay. They're lawn lights, solar lawn lights that look like mushrooms. Okay. So the light was coming out from underneath the top part, the hood of the light. Yeah. Exactly. So he throws up and it lands, I am not kidding you, right on top of the light. Okay. But it's like it was a combination of food and beer. So it was real slow to start trickling down. So it was like super like thick vomit just starting to slide down the lamp. And you can just see it like dangling on the sides from the shadow. And you saw a little bit of like steam because it was hot and everything.
Yeah, that's what I wanted you to mention, the fucking steam. But now it's all you.
What did you have to eat?
I think it was pizza. Was it pizza?
I wonder why it was so thick.
I feel like it was
dick.
Fuck.
It was spotted dick. He had spotted dick for dinner.
I was gonna make a joke and say I spotted dick after the movie, but there's been a lot of dick references towards me today.
I wonder
why.
The fucking TMZ. Dun, dun, dun. I threw up on it. I feel like it was it's not cilantro. I can't think of words today. Ceviche. It was ceviche.
Oh, it was ceviche?
Yeah. And it was fucking, but it was ceviche and the rice and everything else. But I didn't want to slam everything down because it was like the seafood whatever special. And then when
that's why Elephant Bar went bankrupt.
Not lying. I'm sorry if you guys are squeamish. It was like on perfectly on top of the fucking thing where it was like covered.
The best way to describe it is, have you guys seen Kinetic Sand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So so if you guys don't know what Kinetic Sand, it's a different type of play sand for kids, and it holds its form really, really well. But when you hold it in your hand and you kind of like play around with the sand, it starts to fall apart, but it falls apart really slowly. So picture that hitting the top of the light and then just starting to cascade over ever so slowly. And then just like, because the light was so hot, and you just saw steam and you heard the sizzle of the vomit on top of the light, Needless to say, no. After that happens, this car drives by and he goes, yeah, bro. Mind you, the movie started at 8 p.m. Okay, so they all thought that he was all hammered by 8 p.m. So they were giving him props for being trashed at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. And there's a patio area.
Oh, yeah.
At every elephant bar.
It happened in front of them, and there was one fucking the worst moment ever. I still remember. There's a brown curly haired girl, chef's kiss, as Carmen would say, looked right at me, and I was like, "There's more. I can't do. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can't warn you because it's. I was gonna say it's in my throat. I can't. And then it was just kind of like
with the dick reference.
I just did big eyes, like, and then just went more, and then immediately, let's go, and then.
Hey, you couldn't turn around in that time.
It was like her and I had a moment because now she has a story like Luis's. I shit my pants and now I'm gonna get married. But her and I aren't gonna get married clearly. But I did throw up in front of her, so now her and I are connected.
That was the most intimate moment that you two will share ever.
She closes her eyes and that moment haunts her every night. all she hears is the sizzling of the vomit. Wakes her up in a dead sleep.
She's like, I could never look at mushrooms ever the same.
That's a play on words right there. Anyway, comments?
I was thinking about that play on words.
Yeah, so that happened.
Oh, that was awesome. Carmen, back to
I love
you.
that story. Love it. Geez, where were we at?
Beginning of the show.
Let's begin the show.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
3 hours last
So there was a James Gunn announcement. The Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special is supposed to feature a very major character for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't know how I feel about when directors or anyone actually says things like this, because then it sets like an expectation. You know what I mean? And like, although Marvel is known to somewhat deliver on like the expectation and what we want, I think we've mentioned this before. I'm of the notion of like, I'm gonna watch it regardless. So I would just much rather be surprised and like let it be what it is. Kind of like what they did on Mandalorian. You know, like we never expected that and we got that. So like, let me have that for every surprise or major reveal that's gonna come. At least that's my opinion. How do you guys feel about the comments?
I'm in the same boat you are, only because the way, like you were saying, the whole Mandalorian thing ending was a big shocker to everybody. And then we have Elizabeth Olsen saying it's a Luke level, surprise. And we're just like, oh, okay, this is going to be fucking dope. And it turns out that it's not. And we're like, oh, okay, that's cool. So I'm kind of taking it with a grain of salt because James Gunn could we all can think one thing and then he can go in a completely different direction,
Right.
So I mean, I'll just wait and see when this thing shows up on Disney Plus, next year? Because I don't think it's coming out this year. I think it's going to come out next year. So we'll see.
It's supposed to come out right after.
Yeah,
it's the holiday special for 2022. So it will come out right after Thor: Love and Thunder, and then before the third volume of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Any thoughts? Sorry, Andres.
No, it's fine.
We do have to start heading into the next big bad. I don't know if they're going to dedicate it like they did Thanos, but maybe, you know what I mean? I mean, I would gather that the next thing might be Galactus, but maybe like similar to if they're going that route. I mean, fuck, it could really be Wolverine, but like the new Wolverine, but in passing and just in the costume so that you don't see the guy's face. So we're not dedicated to that person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just could be, I don't know. I feel more confident.
Do you actually see hold on to respond. Do you actually see Wolverine coming out in a Guardians of the Galaxy Halloween special or holiday special? I said Halloween.
No, I was leaning more towards Galactus, but I was just trying to give like an example. But I don't see it being Wolverine, but I see it being like it could be Nightcrawler, but it's not, because of the makeup, it's not gonna be the actual Nightcrawler. Or the person that's gonna end up playing them. I feel more confident when the studio says we have a surprise for you than when an actor says we have something for you, because the actor just wants you to go see the show, where the studio like pretty much knows they have to deliver. You know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna. The studio are like nerds, where the actors kind of like probably saw 2 issues of something and went like, "Oh, I'm that character now." Sorry, Andres.
Not to like. I'm not trying to talk shit, but since it's James Gunn that said it, I have more faith since it's James Gunn who said it. So it's Guardians is his shit. He has his nerd credentials. So if he says he's debuting somebody, like, I don't expect it to be something like Earth fucking shattering, like, oh, we have the mutants now. It's gonna be something like, if it's fucking Silver Surfer, that'd be cool, because okay, the Guardians of the Galaxy are kind of like the fucking space group out of it. So I will eliminate like every Earth-based character. So takes care of the mutants, takes care of Fantastic Four, maybe, unless they debut there. Like, that would be cool if they debut there. But like, so I would say like Silver Surfer, and then you could use him as a herald to Galactus to like play off what you were saying.
It could be like the cantina scene though, like Silver Surfer just walks by and it's just kind of like,
yeah,
but
for
then
sure, especially
you don't know it's blah 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 because he just walked by, you know.
Especially since it's a holiday special, you could do something goofy, or like, just like, I don't expect this to be serious. I don't expect it to be like fucking. It's gonna be like an after school special. It's gonna be like something with a fucking moral story to it. But that's what we're expecting, because it's a fucking Christmas special. So yeah.
So it's not Galaxy 3. This is something Guardians of the Galaxy 3. This is something
totally no, it's separate.
Okay.
Like, it is a special holiday episode just for,
so
like,
he could just be saying Mickey.
Yeah, but I doubt it'd be.
I
Mickey.
doubt it. I mean,
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were like speculating, like, oh, it could be Adam Warlock. You know what I mean? Because he was teased already a couple times. You know, in what was it? The first Guardians and then the second Guardians, or in Infinity War. You know, and in Guardians 2, you know, or it could be as something as, you know, because in the comic books, Rocket has a girlfriend who's a ferret or something like that, like genetically enhanced, you know, like either ferret or something like that. You know, she's not a chipmunk. She's not a raccoon.
I was gonna say, his statement was that he's gonna debut like an important character. Because I was thinking, like, they could just, I know we've seen like bits and pieces of Howard the Duck. They could just, like, that's something they could just use as a throwaway. It's like, yeah, we have Howard the Duck as a character. We could have him here in this holiday special, and it's not gonna affect like the grand scheme of the fucking Marvel universe.
He was replying to comments on Twitter, and he said it's not Howard the Duck.
Okay, perfect.
And there was another character that he mentioned that it was not, that people were speculating that it was. I don't recall what that was, but Howard the Duck was one that I do recall that he mentioned it's not that. Cool. But yeah, so I mean, I'm excited for whatever is to come, regardless from the next phases of Marvel. What we've gotten so far, I have no complaints about it. I love, but again, I have enjoyed everything that Marvel has done with their movies and, you know, the franchise overall. So we're here for it, I think. overall. And then now talking about Marvel versus DC, DC is having their fandom online. It's kind of, they're kind of like panels, correct? As in you can join the different online rooms or different things that are happening and be able to be either part of the panel that's going on, or like they're just going to release content for their shows or whatever is down the line. Did you guys happen to be in the last one or catch anything from the first one, which was last year actually?
I saw some stuff on there, you know, which was pretty cool. Like we got the comic book, the motion comic book for Black Adam and stuff like that on that first one. So we got a few things, you know, which are actually pretty cool. I'm looking forward to this one that's coming up, only because a lot of if you guys saw some of the artwork that they ended up putting out for the DC fandom, and I'm not saying by no means are we going to end up getting this for it, you know, but it's just a lot of DC characters that have come across each other throughout the years, you know, so it's like Supergirl and, you know, the Super Pets and stuff like that. But the one that really looked really interesting to me, there's a drawing of Black Adam and Superman fighting. Okay. If you look at it, Superman looks just like Henry Cavill and Black Adam looks like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, you know? Yeah. So, which is actually pretty sick. Like, that's awesome. So I don't know if that's going to be like a foreshadow. I'm not, you know, holding my breath on it, you know, if that's going to be a foreshadowing that, you know, Henry Cavill is for sure set to be Superman in the next few years or whatever. He's going to show up in, you know, as a end credit scene for Black Adam or whatever, you know. I'm looking forward to it because I want to see, there's stuff that I want to see. I want to see some Supergirl stuff because I want to see Sasha. God, what the hell's her last name? Fuck. I can't remember her last name. I want to see her in there. I want to see that. I want to see more Batman footage, the Batman footage. I want to see Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Black Adam. There's a lot of stuff that like I'm looking forward to seeing, you know. Again, I'm hyped about it, you know, because this is all new stuff that we're going to end up seeing. But is it going to be good? I mean, it's DC, so
hold your breath.
Yeah.
Or don't. Just kidding. Let's go positive. Let's be positive.
It'll be great.
Exactly. I know that it's a free event that people can watch. From what I looked up, it seems like you can just watch it. It is being held on October 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's going to be a streaming event, as mentioned, and it's going to be streaming from dcfandom.com, or IGN is also having it and streaming it on their platform if you want to join whichever way. If you want to watch any of that content that will be held, as Esteban said, they kind of have teased that there would be first look at Black Adam, a sneak peek of The Flash that's coming up pretty soon, some behind the scenes stuff for Aquaman and Shazam, Fury of the Gods. And then like some of other content with like comics and the animation Injustice animated movie. They might do something with that, or the Catwoman Hunted animated movie also. So seems like, as you said, Esteban, there's a lot of stuff that's coming down. And I mean, I know that we're excited as far as what the quality of the content is going to be. Then that's where, you know, like we're hoping for the best, I think. How about Ash? Any thoughts on the DC fandom event?
I handle DC like I handle the fact that I'm a Raider fan. We have wins and a lot more losses than wins, but when we win, we fucking win. And by that, I mean, I restarted doing The Flash, and I really love that it was like 3 or 4 different shows that they made into one world. And they did on TV better than what they've done in movies. I think the fact that they just give up like that instead of learning and making the second movie better, which I love Marvel movies, but I feel like Sony does the same thing where they don't really learn their lesson. They just, this is what works. These are what the points are saying. And kids love fucking scooters. So let's throw in a scooter scene. Like, I don't know. I'm very happy about Fandom. And I guess I'm bringing up movies instead of Fandom. I'm going to be happy to see it. Sorry, it's like a deeper question. And I want it to be comments again. Andres?
Yeah. So yeah, it's cool. I think right now the only thing I'm really interested DC wise from their film universe would be Pattinson's Batman. So if we see more of that, I'd be like super into it. But as of anything else, it's like yeah, I guess they're doing Flashpoint for Flash. That's cool. It's been done a lot. Like they use that as a crutch, I think, too much. But if we get to see Lauren Cohen as
Joker.
yes, thank you, as Joker, and your boyfriend Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Batman, then that'd be cool. But I'm not holding my breath for that. So
But
it's like
it's weird though because he's a side character and your first movie is Flashpoint.
yeah, I know.
Right? It's
Like-
not, you haven't made us love him. It's kind of like what you said about Superman. You didn't make us love him before that.
That's what I was gonna get hit up is like you're using that as a fucking crutch, like to draw people in, where you're not telling the story and like you want to fall in love with the character before you fucking do these like earth changing events. So like that's always like I guess my fucking complaint against DC is where they're just like doing their big events to get people to come in, and they're not like build up to it to make us fall in love with those characters, and then do those earth shaking events where it like we're invested, like make us invested in this character and what they're going through first. Yes, Ash.
Do you feel that it's like that because they want to get to an original story? They want to like clue you in, or not clue you in, bring you in with something you know, and then not be stuck to a comic book? Or do you just feel like it's give them Flashpoint, give them Nightfall, give them fucking Death of Superman, give them, which they kind of fucking did, which
Yeah, they did Death of Superman.
in its own movie.
I think it's what makes a buck and helps us catch up to Marvel as best we can. I think it's more to that than anything else. I don't think they care to tell the story. Like this is Warner Brothers, obviously not DC. I think if the comic books themselves had a say, they would build the characters more than what they've been doing thus far.
Marvel does Marvel movies. Yeah, I never even thought of it like that. So it's not really truly DC.
Mhm.
We're all blaming DC. That's true. Fuck yeah, mind blown. Thank you.
Yeah,
well, yeah, it's like Marvel always made you care about characters that you didn't even know about. You know what I mean? Like Guardians of the Galaxy is a great example of that. You know, because James Gunn did wonderful with those characters in that movie. I still remember when it came out, one of my friends had asked me, "Are you gonna watch it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I don't know any of these characters." So I wasn't expecting to love the movie or to be wow, like it's just another movie to go watch. And then, you know, lo and behold, Groot is one of the most beloved characters. And, you know, and like that is the one line he says throughout the whole movie. So it's just a character building. And I feel that that's where any DC movie has failed, to where they are, like Andrea said, trying to catch up to Marvel, or like give you the big events, kind of like the Avengers or whatever, you know, or like we can do this better because you know these characters and you're gonna love them, you know, because you know them, you know their story, and you know what they're going through. But it's like, but most people that haven't read the comics don't know. Yeah, Ash, go ahead.
No, the last thing I want to say is Marvel has it so good that like Bradley Cooper is Rocket, and Vin Diesel of they don't try to like Sony, like we're gonna make you Captain America, like, you know what I mean, like they have it so good where it's you're like at the same time being that character, you could still like Thanos is Cable, like you could still be in the Marvel universe. I don't know, you know what I mean, like you have an Academy Award winning person as Rocket Raccoon and you're in a comic book, you know what I mean, that's how good they have it. Like they're just fucking smarter about it. Sorry, Carmen.
No, you're fine. I hope that it gets better as the DC content. Like, I hope somebody in the board meeting or the pitching meeting or whatever, they're taking notes and they're like, let's build a world rather than like just try to put these big ideas together. I think that would be beneficial, and in the end it's going to bring them more views, which is what they want. They want to sell movies, they want to sell content, they want to sell you merch, which will sell if they just give you a good story. You know what I mean? Or at least give you some continuity. Okay, like you introduce the multiverse and you're telling us there's different versions of Batman. Okay, fine, I'll buy into it, but like, can you build from there? Don't just be like, oh, well, now we're gonna forget about that version and we're just gonna move on from here. It's like, okay, I kind of need you to like wrap this up in a little nice bubble for me and put a bow on it so that it makes sense. Make it make sense.
Agreed.
So that was a very long tangent off of Fandom. Hopefully we get to see new content that makes sense from what's going to happen on October 16th. So we're looking forward to that. And speaking about DC, there is the Wayne Family Adventures, which is going to be brought to live action adoption. I do not know much about this webtoon. Does somebody here, one of you tell me about it?
I think it's a HBO Max animated show first, but a separate studio is adapting it. So I think it's a separate studio that's doing it. So I don't think it's like coming from exactly Warner Brothers or from DC. It's a completely separate studio that's doing it.
So
it's
I think they're called Ismahawk.
Yeah.
And I looked them up, and it seems like they are an independent production group specializing in action movies or sequences. So that's like what they specialize in. And they have worked with, mostly from what I was seeing, the brands that they have worked with is like MGM Grand in Las Vegas, and then like a bunch of EDC, like Life is Beautiful festivals. So like, I don't know what the content is in regards to like, now they're bringing us a series of the Wayne's family on their YouTube channel. So everybody's going to be able to watch it on YouTube. And it's supposed to be like a mini series. But what is the story that they're taking this from?
I think it's just an original story. I'm not 100% sure,
okay.
But it's supposed to be kind of like a day in the life of the Wayne family, So from what I've seen from the animated stuff, it looks very cheeky, like very wholesome, so it's like, what are they doing when they're not fighting crime type thing?
No, okay. All right.
So I don't know. I'm in. I mean, I don't mind watching it. And I think what intrigues me is that it's a completely independent, studio. And I love a lot of the fan film stuff that's put together, that's been put out there, because a lot of the fans obviously are like, they're like us, that they stick to the source material, or they stick to what they know as far as the character goes. The first one that I saw years ago was Batman Endgame. And that was Batman, who had a crossover with Predator and Alien and the Xenomorphs. which was fantastic. You know, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube, you know. So there's that one. There's the one that Bat in the Sun did. You know, there's there's tons of stuff in there. I really, really dig that, a lot of that stuff. And a lot, and I think what drew me into a lot of the fan made stuff is a lot of the fan made Star Wars films. Like, you can see their dedication in those. It's fantastic.
Any other thoughts on family adventures of the Wayne family? Sweet, love it. A lot of content, love it. How prepared we are.
I only know of the pictures, and I don't want to like judge it on the pictures that we presented with the chat room. So I don't want to be like, I just don't. I have.
Well, I mean, think of it this way: we're getting the very first live action Damian Wayne. You know,
yeah, I'm leaning towards what Ash is saying. Is the pictures that we got didn't impress, I guess, is what I would say.
True.
It looks like Titans, basically, just with Wayne's family. And from what you guys all have already said about Titans, it's not good, and you guys are sticking to it because you started it, so that it kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
You know what? It had a good redemption, and since you brought up Titans, it had a good redemption, and then it just went back down. So
see,
I'll take it for that.
And then
it's been a roller coaster. There's episodes where I'm like, oh, that was great, and then the next one I'm like, oh, why?
Well, the finale got spoiled for me. I saw it online today. It got spoiled for me, and I'm just kind of like, meh. All right.
Like, that's kind of the feeling I get from just the stills we saw from this. So it's like, cool, I guess. Whatevs. Yes, Ash.
I when you say something Marvel, like, it's a holiday special, and we're like, maybe it's gonna be Galactus. Like, that's our minds when we go to Marvel. And when it's DC, it's like, okay, but we're not gonna hit the ground running. It's just gonna be something they're gonna.
But
okay,
we're like apologetic about it.
Yeah, it's like
to start off.
But let's be honest, based off of their track history, why do you think we are the way that we are?
That's so it's hard. Like I said, we went for an hour about who could it be on a holiday special.
Mm-hmm.
You showed us our first Damian Wayans. Sorry, our first Damian Wayne, and we don't have that same thing because in a month, when they decide to do another movie, it's gonna be somebody else. We're probably gonna see Damian Wayne. Why does he keep saying Damian Wayans? Damian Wayne, and
I'm so angry
as Batman. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what we're gonna. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he would not be Batman. Anyway, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
actually,
just,
yeah.
Yes, but you know what I mean? It might be like the whole squash thing. Like, okay, it's not something we're gonna invest in because that's what you're gonna get today, and tomorrow you're gonna get something else. So if your Green Arrow into Flash was a bigger deal because they met, blah blah blah. Even fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, I keep calling that Legends of Tomorrow, when they did their little Infinite Crisis, like that again, a bigger deal than.
I think the thing is that they've already said that whatever they're showing, it lives in its own universe unless they say so. So when they said that fucking
but the Spider-Men live in their own universe, and look what is, you know what I mean?
But that's tied into the main Marvel universe. DC said it has like their own separate shit. So like the fucking Joaquin Phoenix Joker doesn't necessarily live in fucking Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman universe. Like, that's separate, could be different timeline, doesn't necessarily have to interact, doesn't happen the same thing. So that's like their fucking problem, where they have these multiple shows. Like, they could literally do like Robert Pattinson's Batman doesn't necessarily have to deal with fucking Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Like, it's a different fucking different universe, so they don't interact.
Hey, dude, your mic's like
Your
going in
mic
and
is
out.
going in and out.
Sorry, better.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, do I repeat myself?
No, you pick up where you left off for the Joker Wonder Woman thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman doesn't necessarily live in fucking Joaquin Phoenix's universe like that. Not that isn't necessarily the same line. Like they're saying, like, oh, there's multiverse, there's different characters, different version of shit. That doesn't necessarily like. So they did their Justice League that necessarily doesn't live in, or obviously doesn't live in fucking Robert Pattinson's world, which doesn't necessarily live in fucking Joaquin Phoenix's Joker's world. So I think it's like their whole scattered brain shit doesn't help. Where like in Marvel, it's all one consistent universe. Even with their Sony shit, that's like way off the side. Hey, we have Spider-Man over here, and look, well, I'm sure we're going to talk about it later. So he's part of this, and he's bringing Venom into the main universe.
And it did take a lot of fucking years. Like we're including everything, but it was like from Iron Man, Captain, like all the way down the line to where now it's like one world. It wasn't like one world like yesterday. You know what I mean? Like this wasn't probably even the plan. You know, and they have like, one character, Doctor Strange, that could make this all make sense.
And like DC has their own character with Dr. Fate that could make it all make sense. But will they do it? Probably not, because of the bad results they had so far. It's like, I don't know.
I think Dr. Fate's supposed to show up in Black Adam.
Yeah. But will they use him to...
Oh, that's a valid question. Yeah.
Like that's what my main point was.
Maybe if they do everything kind of the way they did Batman Begins to Dark Knight, just have one story, tell it. Don't create a world, just create really good stories within themselves.
See, that's what I'm hoping.
If it works out, kind of thing. But don't plan on it.
I agree with you, and that's what I'm hoping they're doing with Robert Pattinson's Batman. Yeah. That it's going to be so good where it's like, okay, we could put the next touchstone from this point on going forward, and we could create a shared universe going forward. But who the fuck knows?
And after Dark Knight Rises, when we all found out it's not going to be Christian Bale, there was such a letdown. And it was kind of like, well, this is what Christian Bale would be dealing with today. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, what are we doing today? You know what I mean? Like, I created this whole little, it's so hard. It's like, anyway, we're on. Don't ever bring up DC again.
So angry.
Damn it, Carmen.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm sorry, guys.
Kidding.
Speaking actually about the entertainment industry, there is a story that is kind of like under, and it has not been talked about a lot, but I found out about it today, and so I wanted to bring it up to your guys' attention. And it is about the film and television production in North America is at risk of coming to a standstill. So, which would mean that movies don't get made, like there's just nothing happening in the entertainment industry, and that's overall studios, streaming services. And this is because there was a strike, or there will be a strike. It's in the works. It was approved, and it is authorized, and it's going to be the first one in 128 years of history. It hasn't happened in 128 years in Hollywood or in the film industry. And this is all just because people in the industry want to get paid fair wages, especially we're talking about makeup artists, camera personnel, anyone that contributes to anything did I freeze? Are you guys there?
No, we're good.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me? Okay. So it has to do with all the stage employees. And it has the strike. It's 190. It's 99% registered members who participated that are on board on going on strike for these wages, which is the highest participant return of, you know, saying, hey, we need fair wages. We need, you know, even with what happened with COVID. And this is mostly because when Netflix and Amazon or all the streaming services began, they had a caveat or a clause in their contract that because they weren't so big as the big studios, they could pay minimum wage to anyone that wasn't a star of a show. And so people aren't getting compensated more than just minimum wage. And so like they're having to be there for 12 hours and they're just getting the minimum wage. And, you know, like overtime, even in the minimum wage is not going to be enough when you're spending 12 hours of your day at a set. So just want to let you guys know that that might be coming, and companies such as Netflix, Apple, Amazon, they're like the biggest offenders of this because they're the ones that haven't raised their prices or like the compensation for these people. What are you guys' thoughts on it? Andres, go ahead.
So this is the Iatsc strike. They authorize a strike. So there is a Instagram account and a Twitter account that has horror stories of members. So these are behind the scene. So these are like grips, makeup artists, horror stories on like fucking Instagram that tells like they're working over fucking 16, 20-hour days, like on the set, where they show up at fucking 5 a.m, leave at 10, 12 at night, sleep for a minimum amount of time, and get up and do it again. And they're not getting compensated for the time. Like they are working, like this is, they're working this time, not getting compensated fairly, have to do it day in and day out. And if they don't, they get their asses fired. They don't have any coverage for it. So they're working for fair wages, fair time, that if they're going to be doing multiple hour, like past 12-hour days, to be compensated for it, or to have somebody come replace them and take care of the time. There are a lot of celebrities that I follow. It's basically actors that are resharing some of the stories that these union members are sharing, because it is like the shit they have is horrific. Like they have people begging to use the restroom that don't. They have women that are pregnant that can't go, which if you have been or ever know someone who is pregnant, they have a baby that's pressing on their bladder. So they obviously have to go urinate more often than someone normally does. And they're not allowed to. Like there's stories where people are like literally urinating themselves and they can't do anything about it because they signed up. So there are multiple horror stories. Like this isn't like fucking people trying to get more money that aren't doing anything for it. These are the people that get fucking movies done. Like, yes, there's like writers and shit. They do the work, but these are the people that are putting their blood, sweat, and tears into making your TV shows, into making your movies. So, like, for anyone that doesn't support them or are calling them selfish or whatever because they're gonna stop your entertainment, like, please just like go read into what they're fucking they're doing and what they're trying to do, so you could be a decent, fair human being at the very least.
Wow.
And I'll try to find that social media accounts so you guys could read your own stories. So if you had a different opinion, you could see why they're doing this.
That's nuts, man. That's nuts.
Ash, you have been in the industry as an extra. Do you think this is merited?
That is the main reason I'm in banking today. Was the writer strike. There was no work, so, and if there was work, it was like these 5 things are green lit, and everybody's somebody else's friend. So it was so I can only imagine everything that's happening now. It it's big enough for actors to support them, so it's not to bring up future shit, but goddamn, Resident Evil looks horrible. And I know we're gonna bring it up, but it's the difference between making that shit look great and that making that shit look. It's. I dated a person that did makeup. They fucking really work hard. Esteban is married to somebody that. Oh, I have to plug in. Is married to somebody that does makeup. They do have to be, because the director could be like, all right, well, we need to show it from this angle. We need to be this angle. We need to do this. We need to do that. We need to do whatever. They have to stay there because the director might need something. Right. Not even planned. You're planned to be there till 2, but we ran late because the actor didn't have his lines. The light wasn't quite right. Fuck, it was gray clouds. We've done skits where it was day, and now we have to make it make sense because now we've ran so long it might turn into night. And these are our skits. So I can only imagine having other people wait on us. You know what I mean? Just so that's the biggest reason I went into banking, was because it wasn't stable, and it wasn't and it all made sense. Like, the writers need their money, everybody needs their money. The studio just, it made $10 million the first fucking day, but yeah, that's cool, but like, the studio made their money, but what about everybody that worked on everybody that worked on the movie? And it's weird because when you watch a Marvel movie, it's like the Hawaii unit, the blah 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 CGI unit, the Arizona unit. Like, there's Team B, Team C, team. That's why you're waiting for the end credits, and you're seeing maybe the same guy fucking 15 times. Maybe that's Team B goes to Team C, goes to the other unit. It's just that's how many people work on it, and then at the same time, it's the guy that has to go to Hawaii, to Arizona, to everything. Just look at Esteban. Esteban knows fucking editing. He knows computer stuff. He knows and again, it's within us 5. Now imagine, you know what I mean? Like, on a bigger scale, waiting for us to even finish a podcast. Just it is what it is. Sometimes it's 3 hours. Sometimes, if Andreas is hosting, it's an hour and a half. Just, it is what it is. Hopefully that all made sense.
It did.
Okay.
Go ahead, Andrea.
I've shot here this whole time, so I'm not drunk yet.
So that Instagram that lists the stories of IATSE union members is called IA_stories. And I wanted to shout out Katja Herbers from the show Evil, Elizabeth Reeser from The Haunting of Hill House, and Anna Paquin from, you all know who the fuck Anna Paquin is, who's shared many of these stories on Instagram, that's standing by their brothers and sisters in the fucking film industry, so they could share, so they could get adequate wages and are treated fairly for our entertainment, basically. Esteban.
I think it's sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Esteban. it's problematic for me in the sense of you have actors, actresses, directors in the same set as your grips guy, your camera guy, your makeup artist, but like the income inequality on just that room is like so palpable. You know what I mean? And yes, I do appreciate the actors that are sharing the stories and that are like because of these people, we're able to do what we do, and they should be compensated fairly for what they're doing. I won't speak for the group, but I definitely have been in the service industry, and I stand with these people. I know what the struggle is to not get compensated for the work that you're doing. And I cannot even begin to imagine what it's like to work a more than 12-hour shift and having to wait because you don't know if they're going to need a touch up. You don't know if you're going to have to change the lens. You don't know, like, the lighting, like you have to change the lighting or whatever. And you cannot even go home to have a night's sound sleep because you're needed next day. That's horrible. And I know there are many shows that have come out recently that we have enjoyed, that we have benefited from, especially during this time that we were able to stream more content. And I mean, if it ever became to a public choice and for us to be involved in some way, like, we back you guys up, and that I involved my crew members, but I don't see that they wouldn't stand with you as well. So, this show, we're benefiting from the content that you guys are contributing to and that you're creating. And with that said, Esteban, what are your thoughts on this?
I stand with them wholeheartedly. Like Ash was saying, my wife does makeup. She does beauty makeup. She does special effects. She does all that stuff. So yeah, the hours are long. The hours can be long. They can be, strenuous. They are you're needed at tomorrow. My wife has, oh no, not tomorrow. Sorry. This coming Saturday, she got booked to do a quinceañera, a makeup for a quinceañera. She needs to be there at 5 a.m. The quinceañera doesn't start until, I think pictures are at 9:00. So she's got to be there at 5 a.m. and do the makeup for the quinceañera. And I think she's doing makeup for 2 people, but she gets there early so that to make sure that the quinceañera is she's set, she's ready, there's no imperfections, because obviously she takes pride in her work, just like these people do. They take pride in their work. The makeup artist, the cameraman, even the guy that's holding the boom mic, he takes pride in his work. He needs to focus and make sure that the mic's not in the shot, or else the shot goes to shit and you got to do it all over again. So yeah, it's that. She recently did a short film. She did makeup for a short film, and she was gone. I'm not kidding you. She left at, I want to say it was like 9:00 in the morning. She didn't come back until like almost 7:00 in the evening, because like Ash was saying, the lighting, and she was doing a lot of stuff for a fight scene. So it's like, if things were like, if the guy fell a certain way and messed up the makeup, she had to go in there and touch up the makeup and go do this and go do that. So it's a constant thing where they're, number one, on their feet for, like Andres is saying, 20 hours, 15 hours, they're on their feet. They can't sit, because at a moment's notice, when the director yells cut and then they need makeup touch-ups, they got to run in there, do the makeup touch-ups, because they only, have a certain amount of time, because they got to get ready because they're running out of light or whatever. And then they go again. And then if they screw it up again, then they got to go in there again and they got to do the makeup all over again and they got to run out, So it's like that. It's legit a pit crew. Like for NASCAR, it's legit a pit crew. They say cut, and if they got to do makeup, they run in there, do it, and they're out, but their day's not over, So I stand with these workers. It's not fair. They should be paid their fair wages, for stuff like that. Yeah, there are, like Ash was saying, the writer's strike and stuff like that, but it's not the same, because the writer's work is done at a certain time, and then they submit the scripts. And if there's rewrites that need to be done, then they send it back to the writer to do the rewrites, or they do the rewrites there, because sometimes the writer's there, so it's not the same, it's not the same. Ash.
Go ahead.
It's not fair that the person that says yes makes more money than the person that actually has to fucking do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, yes, you're green lit. Go ahead and go. It's a fucking team of people that say yes, but they're dealing also with other people's money to say yes, and they're there to make more money, but they're only saying yes for you to work and do all that. I don't mean to ruin bloopers for you guys, but if you ever watch bloopers, the extras are like,
yeah,
and it's everybody else having fun, but
except for the extras, because they're just like, we've done this fucking scene like 8 times already. Like, what the hell, man?
You get to go back to your trailer, but you sat. The best thing about being an extra was like when you were not in the scene at all. Like if Carmen and Esteban are doing a scene, I'm on this side and Andres is on this side. Okay, now it's your time, Esteban. Like, okay, cool. So then I just do this shot, meaning once we go to Carmen, I'm not in the shot. So I either get to go home, I get to go hang out, whatever. But there's times where now it's a 2-shot. Now we're both in but now we both have to stay there because of that. And now, because we're shooting together, we can't get the scene because we're making each other laugh. These people, all these other fucking people have been there the entire time hearing the same thing 50 times that all of a sudden these 2 people can't get. It's hilarious for the audience, but it's like, fuck, bro, like you told me I was off at 8. It's 10:30. Like,
yeah,
as being an extra, like, hey, what time are you off? Fuck, I will never be able to tell you that. Ever. There's just no way I could tell you that. Only time was like when I did Frasier, like, because it's filming on the day and it has to be done by a certain, like, because they have live audiences. Those were like, okay, cool. But the setting up of the day, no, bro, you're done. You're done. Just don't plan shit. Anyway, sorry, that went off the rails.
Andres, go ahead.
All I wanted to say was I love my television shows and I love film. I love film. It's an escape from whatever we're all going through at the time, and we use it as entertainment or as relief. But I'm willing to give whatever's coming up in solidarity with our union brothers and sisters, so they get treated fairly. And I'm sure there's other people who just want to see their television shows and don't give a shit about their fellow human beings. But they're the people that are putting their blood, sweat, and tears into getting done what you're enjoying, what you're watching. So just be a human being and support them. That's all I wanted to say.
And it's not only that, but it's like I'm not in a union, so I don't know what it entails, as far as, dues and whatnot. And obviously it sounds like the support's there being in a union, but it's like Andres said, just being a decent human being. It's like, come on, like they're working there 20 hours, 18 hours a day, and sometimes if for whatever reason the studio needs to get a freelance makeup artist, to do stuff, the freelance makeup artist needs to bring their stuff. The studio doesn't replace their stuff. They have to go out and they got to pay. They have to buy and replace their own items, So if you're coming in doing
is COVID time, so you gotta sanitize that. You cannot use the same thing twice. You gotta you have more expenses, and are they compensating you for that? No,
of course not.
They are not, because you are just contracted to show up and do the makeup, and you bring your own kit.
So that's what it is. Like, I know this weekend my wife needs to go out and do the quinceañera, but I guarantee you it never fails. they see that, you know, the girl's getting her makeup done and the mom's getting her makeup done. Oh, can I get my makeup done too? So then now,
all the girls in the party,
yeah, you know,
all of a sudden.
yeah, for sure. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, my wife ends up benefiting because she ends up getting more clientele and spreads the word and whatnot. But, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, like I'm contracted to work on 2 individuals for makeup. Now 2 has become now an additional 5 that I've got to do, you know, like, yeah, she's going to make the money for it. But again, as far as time wise goes, it's not the same, you know?
Yeah.
And also, like, we gotta think about, sorry, Ash, I didn't mean to cut you off, but most of the time, the beloved characters that we love to see on the screen, they wouldn't be those characters if it wasn't for the people in the background. You know what I mean? Like, because that certain look that, like, let's just say, like, the Matrix, you know, the costume people or like the wardrobe people, like, if you didn't have them, do you think the actor is going to sit there and think about what they should wear? No, because that's not their job. You know, like, they scored the movie, they read the script, and this is the character they're going to play. But bringing that character to life takes work. And it's all these people that are working these odd hours to bring that character to life. So, as Andrea said, we stand with you. If there are shows that, you know, what we shouldn't watch for the time being, because this is like where we're making our stand, and if they were big offenders of this, like, I agree with him as we should stand with you and boycott the show until that you are paid what your work is deemed to be paid. Ash.
We do have, because of Hulu, HBO, fucking Stars, whatever the fuck you guys have, we have enough to support you and watch. Look at us.
Absolutely.
We're recommending stuff to each other that's 20 years old, 30 years old, and somebody's just as excited today finding out something that started Quentin Tarantino's fucking career. So we have enough that you be on strike, do your shit. It's the studios that need to learn their lesson. The reason I started this was so you and Carmen have a scene, and then all of a sudden, like, somebody needs to bring Carmen a coffee. Andreas, that person who was not scheduled now needs makeup because somebody needs to bring Carmen a coffee. That's a whole other, you've added to my day another half hour, and then plus touch-ups, plus this, plus just we stand with you. And it's not a we stand with you. It's more like we stand with you because we absolutely understand everything that absolutely goes into all of it. And like I said, like, when you watch bloopers and the fucking extras are all fucking upset, it's not because they're dicks. It's because
how long have they been there?
Ever.
Yeah.
And not only have they been there forever, everybody that's been working on, they've been working on the person to even get on fucking camera. They get on camera, their bloopers just means like another 5 minutes, another whatever, plus touch-ups, plus this. Like, it's not even what the extra has to do, it's everything they have to do behind the everything. So absolutely, I'm all about that.
Yes. So we hope that the studios are able to give you and compensate you the way that you deserve, and that there is no strike that needs to happen. If it does happen, we stand with you. If it doesn't, good for you, studios, for stepping up and doing the right thing, because that's what you should have been doing from the beginning. And stop scapegoating or hiding behind a veil of, like, you don't have popular shows because most of you platforms have been featured on the Emmys. If you haven't won an Emmy, you were at least mentioned, and you have a show that has made an impact. So get it together and pay people right. It's what, 2021? We should not be even talking about this. This should not be an issue, especially with what's going on right now. Let's be a human to each other, and let's just take care of each other. So
it does kind of suck, like when you're watching something like that, like say the Oscars, like, oh, by the way, while you guys were at commercial, fucking Karen Ortiz won the makeup artist of the year. All right, so going on, here's Brad Pitt. Like, that does kind of like, and fuck you. Like, just then give them their own show. If you don't want to show them because it's not fucking Lady Gaga, then give them their own shit. So that
that's why the Oscars are like a 2-night event sometimes. So it's like on Saturday, is the makeup artist and stuff. Yeah. They show up and they have their own Oscars, and then Sunday, but get this, it's not televised. Okay. It's not televised. The one that's televised is the one on Sunday with the big names. The one that happens on Saturday with the makeup artist, the special effects people, the camera crew, that stuff. They have their day on Saturday, but it's not televised.
Is it at least YouTubed, or at least something to acknowledge each other?
No, sir. You're lucky. You're lucky if they
who
do.
The makeup artist is
exactly.
And then you follow them, and then they tell you that they've won. Like for Suicide Squad, right? Mm-hmm. Like they were bragging about how they won a category. I think it was best makeup or something like that. And did they ever mention who the makeup artist was? No. They just said that they had bragging rights and that they had won an Emmy, and that Marvel had not yet had achieved that. And it's like, really? You're not even recognizing the talent that got you that award. Like,
and that sucks, because just the name under it could have been like, you make somebody's life. In the trailer, best makeup, whatever, like in the trailer, off to the side, nothing. Like Danny Ortiz, like, fuck, bro, that makes him, and he'll be on fucking Saw 19. Like, you make him for life.
This is the sad part. The Instagram page that Andres told us, IA_stories. I'm looking at it right now. As soon as I look at
fucking horror stories there,
bro. It said, this is one, okay? It says, I retired in 2017. I had worked at a big studio for 29 years. One morning, I was told the department had reworked its workflow, and they were cutting 2 people. I was one of them. I finished my last qualified year at another union job. Then spent 2 years looking for work. I had a network. I thought it'd be a snap. After multiple interviews that went nowhere, I took a job loading trucks at UPS. It was a night shift for minimum wage, and it was the only offer I got. I'm still doing it today as a supplement to my modest monthly pension check.
Yeah.
It's physically punishing, and I usually finish my shift at 9 a.m. I'm 64 years old, and I can't imagine what older IA retirees are doing to make ends meet. As the pension qualifications got higher and higher over the years, many didn't qualify for enough to fully retire. My hope is that the contract being negotiated revamps the funding.
There is worse shit in there where pregnant women are talking about their water breaking on set, and they're not bringing it up to people because they don't want to get fired. Like, there is some fucked up shit in there. And if you have a heart, then you'd understand, and you could deal with your show being put on hold possibly, or your movie being pushed back a few months so people get treated fairly. Like, just have a heart.
Just it's so many people. There's not been, because of the pandemic, it has really brought to light where instead of us thinking about each other, when I say us, I'm going to make us one world. We're all thinking about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying you, I'm just going to say us as a whole, because that's what it is. We are. It's, hey, they're not going to wear a mask. And it's these motherfuckers that don't want to wear a mask. And it's whatever the fuck it is. And in that, we're making that the fight and not, we figure out different ways to divide ourselves to where other people are fucking winning. It's all in my head, and I know how it's coming out, but we don't think about what got the next episode out. We're dealing with how we felt about the next episode. Mm-hmm. We're not, we really shouldn't be, because we think that movie made 90. Rotten Tomatoes is finally like, hey, this movie made 92 million. We're coming back. And it's like, yeah, but it made 92 million when this thing 6 months ago was a win because it made 16 million, because like you know what I mean? Like, which is not anything to a studio. And we're like slowly coming back. But all these motherfuckers got screwed over in the process. Mm-hmm. Like, we're talking about Scarlett Johansson, not we, but the world. Mm-hmm. But we're not even talking about all the lesser people that got screwed over. You know, like, whatever they were promised. And it's you're promised to a makeup company or whoever you're under that needs to make their money to trickle down to the actual workers. Like, but I stand with it's just a lot of shit that we don't think about. And when I brought it up, like, I get annoyed by 27 units to wait for the end credits, but those motherfuckers legit need their fucking credit, because that's the only thing they have to go on to the next movie, mm-hmm. to go on to the next, to put on the resume. But I never thought of it like that until we talked.
And I guarantee you, a lot of these workers are considered contract workers. You know, they're considered contract workers, just like
no benefits.
Right. Just to kind of compare to, you know, as far as contract workers go, the wrestling industry, they're considered contract workers. You know, they sign a contract, but they get no benefits. They get no health insurance. They got to go out and they got to pay for that stuff themselves, you know? So yeah, if, you know, luckily they are paid their fair wages, the majority of that money is going for them to pay for their insurance premiums and to pay for this and to pay for that, you know? So what are they left with? Pennies on the dollar, you know, for them to make ends meet. And that's what it boils down to, you know, for them to be paid their share of the work that they've done, that they put through, that they, like Andres was saying, their blood, sweat, and tears into, you know? Like, do you guys really think it's easy to be holding a boom mic for 18 hours? You know, and just standing there holding the boom mic over your head for 18 hours, you know, holding the camera on your shoulder or the handheld for another 12, you know, and then, you know, for whatever reason, the actors can't get their goddamn line straight, you know, and then you got to do it all over again, you know, stuff like that.
Not only that, it's like the simple bodily functions where it's like, to say the boom mic guy you're talking about, so mm-hmm. he can't drink adequate amounts of water as we normally should be throughout the day, because he's going to have to go urinate, but he mm-hmm. can't, because he's on set holding that mic to get it done. So he's not drinking that water, so he doesn't have to go to the restroom so he could get the filming done. So these are all the sacrifices people are making, and they're like, yeah, if they wanted to, and for everyone that's saying like, yeah, you could go find a different job. It's like, I can't deal with people.
that person could go find a separate job, but there's still going to be somebody holding that boom mic next that's going to do that job. Exactly.
And I can't see you as someone who is the same species as I am, not have fucking compassion for your fellow man. It's like, if you truly feel like that, like, you need to either see a therapist, have a deep have a deep look inside of yourself. You could just fucking say that shit to somebody who is suffering to make something that you enjoy. Like, these people are literally like go through those stories. Like, there's people that married people who work on set that call themselves widows while they're making the films because they don't get to see their partner at the time. There's people who can't, a pregnant woman who is breastfeeding, who can't feed their child at the time because they're on fucking set and doing this. And yeah, I get it. They chose to be part of the movie industry. But like Carmen said, there's someone going to take that spot behind them that's also getting treated like shit to do something that you like to watch. Like, just have a fucking heart. That's all.
Your mic's off. Your mic's off.
That was a very passionate set of words there.
The female Loki, or the female Loki, whoever was smart enough or whoever knew the situation, somebody had to come up with the suit that was able to come up with
so
the
she can breastfeed.
Right, breastfeed, and still have the tight ass suit that she had. Like that, she was not skinny, but she was skinny. But you know what I mean? Like, she was still in that tight ass suit for us to make it visual and she was breastfeeding. Like, it's stuff we don't even think of. We would have never thought of that. And then we're like, oh, that's cool. They made that happen. But it was somebody that, like, hey, so here's the situation. Carmen, Esteban, like, this is what needs, like, you need to make a suit that you need to accommodate the actor. Now make that happen within the, you know what I mean? Like, and you might not get paid. Might not get paid for it, but you don't get paid for something that you create. You're paid for the hours that you're working. We're not paying you to create the thing that I asked you for. You're paid to make it work on set.
Right.
And that's not cool, because I've asked you for something that's not ridiculous, but I've asked you for something that you might not have been prepared for. You know, there's hours that you weren't prepared for that. Like, you have to come up with it. You have to there's trial and error that's not going to be paid for. That's not cool.
Yeah.
Well, we stand with you guys. Again, we hope it doesn't have to come to a complete strike and you get compensated for the work that you do. And if it doesn't and you do have to go on strike, we support you. And whatever means necessary of that for us to provide that support for you, we're there. But hopefully the studios and streaming services get their shit together and compensate you what you are worth and what your art honestly is due. So I didn't mean to take it so heavily on that, but as you could see, we're all passionate about the subject. And again, like, seriously, we appreciate the work that you do, because we know how hard that you work to bring those shows that we thoroughly talk about, that we enjoyed, the movies that we talk to you about like endlessly, and even the arguments that we have. It's all because of the work that you're putting in and the work that you do. Besides the actors, you guys in the background seems like excellent. As I would say, chef's kiss. For the work that you do, and you should be appreciated just as a good plate of pasta would be. If that says anything at all about me and food, that's me in a nutshell. But moving right along, on a positive note, well, not so positive, I guess, because Ash already kind of talked about it. The Resident Evil trailer. Please elaborate on the thoughts that you had about it.
Anytime now.
Ever you're ready, Ash.
It's not great. I'm hoping that the story's so good that you're gonna make me visually take it out of it. Like when you watch the graphic novel, when you read the graphic novel compared to even The Crow.
Mm-hmm.
The Crow is not in the graphic novel is not the same as Brandon Lee. But Brandon Lee brought me to the comic book that made me love the comic book. But don't ever try to do the comic book, and don't ever try to be Brandon. Just I love them as a totally separate thing. The comic book is graphic as shit. Like I just went everywhere with that. This Resident Evil is not good.
You're such a hater.
Because no, it's not. It's as if you gave Bat in the Sun a budget and said, this is what we're doing now. Instead of hiring all these big names, you guys have a budget, which is fucking cool. But at the same time, I don't know that I have access to the guy that played Gollum. I don't know that I have access to all this under a studio. I know all of us as a skit, if we got hired by Fox, we don't know that we have access to fucking Robert Downey Jr. tomorrow. We don't know that. They were, oh, you guys did a whole season? You guys had Robert Downey Jr. We would have been like, what the fuck? Like, there's scenes where it's really Mortal Kombat on YouTube. It's really Bat in the Sun.
Hater.
And I love Bat in the Sun, but I love Bat in the Sun because that's the story you're giving us. We have Bat in the Sun where it was against the Predator against fucking Alien, or no, Batman's fighting Alien, and then all of a sudden you're face to face with Predator. Like, oh, that's amazing! Like, that's my shit. Or it's Batman versus Predator, and all of a sudden you turn around, it's Alien. That's what it is. But they have the budget to pull off the, like, oh, you probably, god damn it. It's amazing. Everything that you could do, I feel like that's what it is. Like, we got everything we wanted in with the Alice series to the point where I honestly feel like Mila Jovovich, help me with their name.
Mila Jovovich.
Thank you. Did everything. Was absolutely John Cena of the fucking series. Like, you have, even though this movie's not going to be great, you have my back. You have my star power. Just let's keep this going. And you did nothing with it other than it's something that will go nowhere. And on top of that, you're doing something else with Netflix with an entirely different cast. You're just fucking up everybody. It's not going to be. It's the same thing I feel about DC. You're dealing with the general public. We love Marvel because you step by step led us through. You're not disregarding the nerds, but you're also like, parents love Marvel. Our parents love Marvel. As old as I am, our parents love Marvel because of you, Spider-Man, Captain America, and DC's like, no, that doesn't count. But like, you're disregarding everything that. There's people that love Fast and Furious that are not going to love DC because they don't know what the fuck is happening. Fast and Furious meaning like just give us a popcorn movie. Okay, so Esteban.
Wow. I mean, could you have shit on that movie any harder?
There was a part where there's this huge ass fucking clearly CGI that's not finished, that's made of other skulls that should have looked fucking dope. And there's a there's a person that would have made the skulls clank together as he's moving, because that's the extra fucking step. That's the fucking chef's kiss, as Carmen says, that knows that's what you cling to. That's the ding, 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 ding. Why is Mike Myers a thing to that one fucking theme forever? Because that's what you put the extra step to it. I can't think of anything. Freddy Krueger, I can't think of any song other than the fucking claw from the bathtub. Other than that, like, I can't think of any single fucking thing, from Rob Zombie taking it over to you make that thing different, because that's how much a part of it is. It's what you put into it. So everything was CGI. The dogs, the this, the that. The only thing that was kind of cool was the what they did with the person, with the truck driver at the end with the red eyes. Like, that was kind of cool, but I think that's the actor and not what they're doing to make it real. You know what I mean? Like, there's a person, like, you probably hired a fucking Walking Dead person that knows that those Walking Dead extras have to make that shit different. Like, what makes you a different zombie than me? Were you bit on the leg? Were you bit on the neck? Were you bit on the, like, what's the part that's hurting you to slow you down or to whatever? Like, there's just some things that are making and that's not the just do. Like, it's like, hey, what a great movie, right? No, it's that person that's making it. Who knew the truck driver? I haven't seen the movie, but who knew the truck driver might show up at the end? Or everybody's dealing with Leon doesn't look like Leon in the video game. Claire doesn't look like Claire from the video game. But are you creating a new world, or you whatever is something that's not going to be that here's a and it's not going to maybe continue, but if you like it, if we continue it, but also here's a Netflix thing that has nothing to do with the movie that we just put out. So that's my rant. 7.
When I first saw the trailer, I felt very nostalgic to the trailer, because the trailer reminded me heavily about the video game. There were certain scenes in the trailer that were legit straight out of the video game. It was really, really cool. I dug it. I'm actually excited for it. Yeah. Does it look a little low budget? Yeah. But, whatever, I'm not gonna not see it because of that. I want to see it because I know the lore. I've played Resident Evil as a kid, growing up, so I'm into that. I want to see that. It looks like they are taking references from the first 2 Resident Evil games, maybe the third one, but I see a lot of stuff from the first and the second video game. I'm going to watch it, but it's probably going to be one of those, obviously, because of COVID, because it's only in theaters. I'll probably end up waiting until it's out, like on VOD or something like that, and I can watch it then. But I'm in. And the only Resident Evil that was good was the very first one with Mila Jovovich. All the ones after it were just fucking complete garbage. All of them. So there's my rant.
I'll probably not watch. Like as someone said, the only real Resident Evil film that I like was the first one. So yeah, better luck next time.
Garbage.
With that, I have neither positive thoughts nor negative thoughts towards it. I watched the trailer and I took it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And was neither convinced to watch the movie nor was I turned off to watch the movie.
Gonna
You know
watch
what I mean?
this shit.
I have watched the other movies as they came out. They weren't memorable to me. I'm not attached to the comic book story that or the comics that it drew from or it didn't draw from. I couldn't tell you. This trailer, as I said, it didn't either deter me from watching it or like excite me to want to watch it. Like it's not something where I'm like, I have to have this day to go watch the movie or like, you know, like I'm gonna wait or whatever. Like eventually I'll see it whenever that is. It happens. But yeah, Ash, any final thoughts?
I was just gonna say part 1 and 2. When you open the door and you don't know where you're gonna go, what room you're gonna go into, like that was that feeling. Part 7 in the video game era, I should say, that wasn't that they made that game into a scary movie. Like I was able to handle it, but I was more like, if you get me hooked on something. That sound all right? Not right. If you get me hooked on something, as gory as it's gonna be, I'm in. I have to fucking finish it because it's what it is. It's like, hey, let's go to spring break. Like I'm all out. I'm out. Or fucking, there's something wrong with Jenny, and then she's fucking breaking bones and needs to be whatever. Like I'm out. But when it's something like Punisher, when he fucking blew that guy's head off with a shotgun, I'm in. I'm stuck. I'm in. Like I'm already. What am I gonna do? It's episode 4. I have to finish the show. Like I'm invested, I'm invested. So I just mean more like with everything that Resident Evil's done as far as video games, I was in, as scary as it is. This being that you're making it a reboot. I have all the Resident Evils of the Alice Resident Evils, and I made myself because I'm invested. Again, I saw the Mike Myers thing. I saw 1 and 2 with the Rob Zombie, again, because I'm invested. But other than that, we're good. I'm tangent level 19 today.
You're all good. It's all good. We got a really unexpected trailer drop this week, House of Dragons, which I was very excited to watch because I am a big Game of Thrones fan, thanks to Andres, which first introduced me to the show. So I will go to you first, Andres. What did you think of the trailer?
So I had... Hold on, give me a second. So after being disappointed with the end of the original Game of Thrones, I'm sure I was like of two minds. I was like, yes, I already loved it. So them making something with different showrunners would have been good to keep in line with the original story, how it was meant to be told. But also the ending of the show left a bad taste in my mouth. I wouldn't say it was a full trailer, it was more like a preview. Actually got me back into my feelings of love for Game of Thrones in general. So I'm really excited and I'm counting down till it's ready to premiere so I could watch. So I am very excited.
Esteban, any thoughts on the trailer?
I'm excited. I want to see it. I know the last season was complete utter bullshit for Game of Thrones, the original. But I'm excited. I want to see it, you know, so I can't wait. I'm all in for that one.
Ash, are you a Game of Thrones fan?
Yeah. I hope it gives credence to why the brother wants to be the king the whole first season. Remember how he
dude,
yeah.
this Game of Thrones is it takes place like 200 years before the other one.
I get it, but you know how he felt like entitled to it? I hope everything
that's because he was the firstborn.
Right, but I'm kind of hoping instead of the dick level that he is, I'm kind of hoping wherever we're gonna go kind of leads to why he feels so entitled. That's all. But I'm excited for it. And the House of Dragons, I just hope that, I don't know if that means like I have 3 dragons, you have 2, means I am the king. I don't know what that means, but just means more dragons for me, so I'm happy.
I'm building onto what you're saying, Ash. This show is supposed to, as we saw in the trailer, supposed to be set 200 years before the events of the Game of Thrones show that we have seen previously to this. So it's based on the book Dance of Dragons, or the story of the Dance of Dragons, which is, again, we're battling for the throne, but it is between Targaryen families, and it's either the black or the green. I don't think they're called families, but it's not two different houses. Are they different houses? Because they're both descendants of Targaryen, though, but they have different claims to the throne. For it's different. As I said, different claims to the throne, and it's either you're in the black house or the green house, and there's different reasons why the different people have claims to the throne. It's a awesome story if it's done correctly, which it looks like from the trailer. It looks like we're getting back to the original Game of Thrones season 1, season 2, 34 content that we were getting, which is, like the good script, the good writing, the good storytelling, and hopefully we get to learn a lot about characters, which a lot of Viserion it's the ancestors of Viserion are here, the ancestors of Daenerys are there, and like we understand their history and why we got to the Mad King. Hopefully we get to see all of that play out. I'm very excited. It's one of the trailers that, again, I was not expecting, but I was really happy to watch.
Is the Mad King created in this? Because that would be cool to see.
This is before.
Eventually, like, well, I mean, we're gonna do seasons, right? So hopefully we get to see, like, the hard part of this is there's so many stories that happen within that. If you're telling this story, it needs to match up to everything that was said in the original Game of Thrones, right? You can't.
The good thing about it.
Everything. Oh, go ahead, Andres.
Yeah, the good thing about it is this is way in the past. So yes, can't hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is way in the past. So anything that they've mentioned that has to do with the past, as long as it matches up, it should be fine. So going forward, like, yeah, you could have multiple seasons. But then there was also the news that they're planning multiple spin-offs off of Game of Thrones. So who sees what they end up doing? Yeah. So they have their options.
And like Andres was saying, Sans, hopefully this is a franchise that you can make multiple shows from, especially like different sigils or different families. You can do different stories. It's a very big universe. We only got a little taste in
and it could happen within the houses, like the little stories that even happened before the houses even dropped, like before the king even, you know what I mean? Like those kings even dropped. The little
even before like Game of Thrones, like the battle before, like when the Baratheon took the kingdom. Like, we can see all those battles and how that happened. We didn't get to see that on this show. So if we get even that story, that would be great. We did see a lot of things that we have seen already on Game of Thrones, like the throne. This time we got to see like all the oh my god, why am I blanking on the name of the swords coming down on the throne, how it was mostly depicted on the book art. And also, I don't know if you guys noticed in the trailer, the dagger that eventually Arya has, or the little finger gave to Cat's Claw to, like, that is featured on the trailer. So we get the history on that. And, I mean, for me, it's kind of, as you guys say, nerd culture, like nerding out, because it's like the little things that were featured already on a show that we knew within that show had more history, and now we get to learn the history of those things and like how these characters eventually got them to be. There was also like the Stark sigil was featured on the trailer. It was very brief, but it was there. So hopefully we get more story on the Stark family, which, I mean, was one of the best families featured on Game of Thrones. But any other thoughts on the show, or like what you hope
that was
to see?
super dope too, because that we're so conditioned that when spoiler alert, when that Stark passed, everybody was set for life as far as every other season, because of that. Not even the death, it was his life. Everything he's ever done in life, like, the descendants, the spoiler, the bastard, everybody is set for life. That's how fucking awesome that motherfucker was. So it was, you set on any little spark. So you could do anything with everything.
I really hope that the dialogue is there. As I said, the dialogue in the first few seasons of Game of Thrones was excellent. And there was a lot of hidden meaning in the conversations that characters were having that you had no clue about until later on, and you were like, wait, hold on, that character said that, or like they made a notion to that, you know what I mean? So it's I hope to be submerged in the story as I was in the first few seasons of Game of Thrones. I mean, I was a fan up until the end.
But so up until the end of the first season, when you didn't win, we're expected to continue on with this character, and it didn't happen, and they were continuing with something that you expected that didn't happen. Is that overall, Bran is not a bad choice. It led different, but Bran was.
You watched the same season we watched?
Damn, like you could see
We're
the
talking
three
about
of
the
us.
same show.
The
don't
instant
feel
you
Bran,
said that.
They didn't lead us, because they kind of fucking fucked Bran from like up until like season 4 or 5, right?
He literally said that he didn't want, since he's a three-eyed raven, he didn't want to be the king of the north.
But,
and then all of a sudden, he's going to be the king of Westeros. And I'm going to go give up the fucking...
But as a person that you said, hey, go watch Game of Thrones, I'm going to invest in 006 for older people. And I invested so much in Stark, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, so what is the rest of my life? I mean, 6 more seasons of somebody I invested so much of my life in. You don't know everything that's going to happen. No? Okay.
No, I grant you
saying.
that. I grant you the fact that we
Bad
didn't know
choice.
what was
But
gonna
I do feel
happen
like
a lot.
we've had this conversation before. I don't feel like we ended horribly. I don't feel like it was out of the realm of no. I make that face all you want, Stefan. We expected a John Daenerys thing to happen where he had to kill her because motherfucker she went fucking crazy and he had to choose between love and that's my
Okay,
Batman.
I'm sorry, Ash. Did you think it was merited that she went crazy? Do you think that was her character all
It
throughout?
was a weird, like, no, bro. Remember how they killed your husband? Remember how all that, and then they killed her talker, and all of a sudden she went like, "I'm crazy," and killed with a dragon, and it was like, "Oh no, you changed up all my shit." No,
That was
the
exactly our point. It's like that was a
dragon.
different character.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm saying. So it was like, okay, so they've taken this motherfucker kind of, let's be real, raped you, and I'm not no fucking
Mm-hmm.
disregard
Mm-hmm.
or anything to the
Mhm.
word of that, and somehow found love, whatever. But
Mhm.
wow, this is fucking in it of itself is loaded,
Mhm.
right? Accepted it, did not rape, but accepted whatever the fuck through seasons. I'm not saying rape, accepted everything that happened after that, and became queen and had whatever. But gained this person loyalty who she'd had from the very beginning. There was a different thing. Like, imagine the person that her, like, over the seasons gained to love her, like gained to love him, and that's the person that they killed. Like, I don't know, it's just a bigger
Well, I think
just
Andres has talked about this because he was gonna get a tattoo of Daenerys, and then they fucking ruined her character. Which
I just once I said the word raped, I had to backtrack because I want to make
You
sure
panicked.
not
You
all
no no no
about
no no no. You
Wait,
panicked when as soon as you said the word. You panicked. That's what
yeah, I
happened.
did.
you
I
could say that
absolutely did.
she was
There's
exactly raped.
words that I'm
There
like, I'm
is-
not no.
Yeah, what you're saying is not wrong. It's facts in the show. That's what happened. So don't
and
don't
she
feel like you
wasn't
have
the
to
only character
backpedal.
in that show that was raped. By the
Yeah,
way.
That's
but
true.
being that I invested in Tony's, I said Tony
Edward.
Stark. Thank you. Being that
Edward
I
Stark.
invested in everything that we're gonna invest in, and that's the credence to
Mhm.
every Stark that's out there. Like, every Stark gets that respect. Means the redhead that I fucking hated until she was Ard.
Sansa.
Until that moment, I was like, no, bro, you have my fucking back all day long. But up until that moment, I was like, oh no, it's all about fucking black curly haired guy,
John
Kit, Jon Stark,
Snow.
and Arya.
Jon Snow.
Arya had the biggest fucking arc.
Yeah.
The most amazing fucking arc. Like, fucking, what am I doing here? The man without faces. Just, oh god.
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing is
And befriended the fucking guy that had no friends.
the
That
Hound.
was the brother of.
The
It was
Hound.
fucking amazing. Like, you picked everything to be fucking perfect. Everybody has their fucking story, and
Until they fuck it
ended
up.
the way you ended, but at the same time, it was a little story. Oh, I feel like we've had this fucking conversation
We have.
every day, but the story has been along the line. It was like a little side story the whole time. It was
I
sprinkled in.
feel like I watched a different show than Ash watched, and I wish that I had seen it. No, I wish that I had seen it through your lens, because then I wouldn't be so disappointed with the last season. You know what I mean? At least I would see it with hopeful sense. But I thoroughly was disappointed.
No, but that
to give you this, there were characters that did get their arc, that did get their homage, that did get to build and have an arc and got developed very well. But then there are other characters that got thrown into the fucking incinerator and they crashed and burned, and that was not fair to them. And I know that we've had this conversation before. But
what if Daenerys, okay, if you're gonna, I know you don't get angry. But if
no,
Daenerys,
I'm not angry.
Daenerys went
I'm
crazy.
breathing.
What if Daenerys went crazy on episode 7, where it was like,
But she didn't, did she?
I know she didn't. But I mean, like, wouldn't have
So
that made
I could say, oh, what if the showrunners actually cared for the season they were doing and put some thought into it and finish the show with a better, like I could like make what ifs about everything.
If you took out the whole city, and then that's when Jon Snow was like, and then your best case scenario was, maybe we should have made it the best case scenario was.
I have something. So in the beginning of the series, I just lost his name. Peter Dinklage's character was a genius. He was tactical and set everything up. But at the halfway point of the series, how many fucking blunders did he have up until the end to the person he backed? And it was a totally different character where he was just fucking shit up left and right.
Tyrion.
Yes,
thank you.
Which that wasn't the case in the beginning. So all of a sudden he's a different person. He's just like. So what was it?
Ever since that battle where he didn't battle, or he went back or something. Oh God, what was that battle? God damn it.
The beginning of his arc was the hook, not the hooker. Excuse me. The
when he became hand.
Married.
When we came in the hand.
Yeah, I took that as his arc. Like, that's my beginning of the good side. That's what I took. I see. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's different.
But even when he was talking with Jon Snow, he told him that this is why he knew things and why he read, because he had been so ridiculed for his size and, you know, being that part of that family where he was mostly rejected. And then this is why he had to rely on books and his knowledge on books. And then all of a sudden, like, his dialogue didn't make sense. He was wishy-washy on like what his strategy was. And it's like, that's not the characters that we met in the first few seasons. Like, who are you? Who is
that would have been done by season 4. So like,
this is not the character that would have slapped Joffrey. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Oh my God, that would have been done. Yeah. I agree.
But I know we went on a tangent, so hopefully we don't get to go on tangents for the show that's coming up, and the writers are giving the chance to write a good story.
Don't fuck it up, HBO.
Please don't fuck it up. Please don't lose the fans. And as you saw with Game of Thrones, we are willing to wait. I am lucky that I was introduced to the show way later, where I didn't have to wait that long. But I mean, if it takes 2 years to write a good season, take 2 years to write a good season. I will wait, you know, for that content to give the characters the arc they deserve. And also, just to recap on what we're talking about, pay special effects people and everybody that's supporting your actors a fair wage. Okay, thank you. Moving on, and this is the last few things that we will talk about because we have talked enough already. So let's go off of Venom. It was released this past weekend. If you watched the movie, give us a comment, tell us how you liked it. Pause this video and type your comment, and then before we spoil it for you, Ash, what did you think of Venom?
Venom was good as an idea. And also, they built up enough in this Venom that the way that this Venom attaches itself to heroes, which was, spoiler alert, please stop everything. Approved. The way that he licks Peter Parker on TV, I feel like that's where we're finally getting the Venom with the fucking Spider-Man on his little whatever. We're gonna get Venom. But that's the spoiler alert. I really didn't like it. I liked it in that I'm gonna watch it as a popcorn movie, and
it was good. I really didn't like it.
I'm so Marvel bound that I don't like that Sony does its own story and it goes like, but we're still Marvel, right? Like, and I don't like that because you have from one of my favorite movies of all time, Natural Born Killers, Mick from Mick and Mallory, and you could have built amazingly on that, but you had him say these weird, like, so this guy goes, something wicked this way comes on while he's being lethally injected. And it's like, so there's no there's no arc, there's no nothing. He didn't become Carnage, he was always Carnage. And then once he's Carnage, the saving grace was once his girl's being blah blah blah. Now you're trying to make him human. Like, you're fucking up, homie. There's no I'm this and now like this. Even Mr. Jangles from fucking Green Mile had this, I'm this, I met this little mouse, and now that means everything to me. And now this dickhead is fucking with the one thing that I have. That is a fucking movie, not what you did. Spoiler alert, completely. I don't know what you were showing me. What is your saving grace? Because you acted like I know why I'm calling Eddie Brock to the cage, to the jailhouse. And then there was times once the thing that happened, oh, you're Venom. Why the fuck did you call this motherfucker? It made no sense. Like, it would have more made sense where I figured out you were the symbiote and I bit you to get the blood in me, so I'm going to die, but I'm not gonna. It made no fucking sense. It made no sense. And then the one fucking "We are Carnage" line didn't make sense because every line was made to be the coolest line, and it never landed. Nothing ever landed. And then once he is Carnage, that line doesn't land because he's been saying those types of lines as fucking Cletus Cassidy, and then it never ever landed until like once he's Carnage. You fucked it up. Even while I'm dying with the lethal injection, still fucked up. It doesn't make any sense. I would have rather had something silent rage, and then Carnage become everything I've ever wanted to say. ever. Everything that's internal become that. Even one line as you're shooting it into my veins, like, oh, just done. And this is a guy from Natural Born Killers that is my shit. Like, perfect serial killer. So I don't know who I'm supposed to pass it to, but it didn't land with me. And then on top of that, like, there's a part, spoiler alert, where he's trying to pull away from him to save his girl, and I was kind of like, no, that's your pinnacle, that's your moment, and you didn't make that your moment, where you could have played this serial killer. You're hurting the one motherfucking person that I love in my life. And like, no, bro, like, it was, oh, hey, don't do that. Hey, don't, hey. So when this moment happened, it was kind of like, didn't mean anything. Kill everybody in the fucking room unless it's the one person that you love. And that's the moment. Like, and that shriek moment happened really early for their powers. And there's fire. Now the fire counts. There's a sound. Now the sound counts. But the sounds and fire don't count in these moments. And you're like, you made everything you did today sucked. So as an English teacher, here's where you sucked. Today. That was good. Today. It was not good. But the saving grace was the end, because, spoiler alert, as Venom says, we are Venom. We have been through a lot. It made everything make sense. It made everything make sense because you just said what you just saw. Fuck all that. We're over here now. We're safe in Marvel, basically. And it's kind of a cop-out.
Got it. Okay.
I promise not to say anything.
I don't know a lot of the comics behind Venom, behind the Spider-Man and Venom relationship. So take what I say with a grain of salt. The movie didn't work for me at all. And this is why the movie didn't work for me, as somebody that's not even been exposed to the characters or the comics before seeing this movie, besides the first one that I watched. You're telling me a story of a character that has been in isolation since they were a child, and all of a sudden they get released and they know how to drive perfectly a vehicle. How do they know how to drive that vehicle? And perfectly, they're in a escaping scene, and all
fucking
of a sudden,
Fast and Furious style, like fucking
the drifting, like the works. They were a child when they were institutionalized, and all of a sudden they're Fast and the Furious, Michelle, like, like whatever, they can compete. Also, you didn't give me a backstory on how, if Carnage could become a thing. Yes, as Ash mentioned, there is a scene where in the movie, Eddie Brock goes and visits, oh my god, what is his name?
different if he knew that's what you are. I know you're Venom. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be different, right?
Exactly. And then, like, all of a sudden, like, there's there's the blood, and then he just takes the blood, and all of a sudden he knows what he's gonna become. Like, how did you know that?
If
had
you're
no
my
idea.
last saving grace to dying, and this is a guy that I know that's Venom, like, you know what I mean? Like, at the very least, like, that's my last bastion of hope. Yeah.
And also, they did not explain that. They did not explain why he was so obsessed with calling Eddie Brock, why that relationship was built. Like that, all of that was not built. So you're telling me a story, and an hour and 30 minutes, which I have no qualms with a movie that's gonna go right straight to the point. But you're gonna tell me a story, and this didn't deliver on that. You didn't build the characters. You didn't give me a backstory. Hold on. And it was infuriating for me because I have no knowledge of this Carnage character at all. You presented the character, you presented that it was a big thread, you told me that it came from Venom. You didn't explain how, you didn't explain the possibilities of what else could happen, or why that's possible, or why is it not a Venom 2, or why it does not look like Venom, why is it red, why is it not black like Venom. You didn't give me any of that black history at all. You know what I mean? And then, as Ash was saying, why is fire all of a sudden a threat? Why is sound all of a sudden a threat when it wasn't just a minute ago and like a couple scenes just before this? So,
you know what's weird is that Spider-Man going into Venom is a huge thing, right? So they nod to it by the fight with the Catholic bell happening. But what's weird is that was supposed to create everything. Like, not only carnage, it was supposed to create riot. It's supposed to create all these side nothing characters that we don't even know about. And it's not even that. Like, even Maximum Carnage is creating all these other little whatever, which is, it should have been in the fucking first place. But it's a good movie. It's a good movie because, again, Eddie Brock is figuring out that he needs Venom and Venom needs Eddie Brock, and that's where it's a good movie.
I think that was the only highlight of that movie, the relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom.
But you're making that an hour and a half, and it's like, but you have riot. You have fucking when Venom says that's a red one, it's not good. You need to know why. Right. That you need to know why that symbiote is the deadliest. Like, no, bro, like, you're done. Like if we all go to a bar tonight and no, bro, like, that's the guy that you don't fuck with.
I feel like it was a story that was told and you got partial statements of the story. Like, you didn't get the full story. Like,
you didn't know it, right?
Yes, and like, you didn't get, the story at all, or character development whatsoever, and you were expected to know like why the red one is such a big threat, or like how that happened.
Also, in the story, that's the one time that Spider-Man and Venom go like, hey bro, like, we are done and we need to, like, even for today, like, but even during Maximum Carnage, god damn, I wish they would have done Maximum Carnage. And I feel like they can't now with how they ended that. But Maximum Carnage was like, it was almost like when you fucking remember when Bane breaks Batman's back and then fucking releases Arkham Asylum? Like that. Everybody else had to handle, I'm gonna break Batman's back and also release Arkham Asylum. Like that. Like, everybody else had to handle Batman's shit. Like, that's the situation that should have happened, and it was kind of like, oh. Everybody's drunk.
Exactly. That face that you just did right there, that's exactly how I left the theater looking like.
No. But that's also a reason why it's not in Marvel's hands, it's also in Sony's hands.
But hopefully, now that we're going to be introduced to the Venom and
Sony needs to go,
it's a little bit better paid off. You know what I mean? And so with that said, that has been Comix, guys. I'm sorry that we kept you here for this while. We missed Luis, of course. I know that he would have totally elaborated on the fiasco that is or was Venom.
You would have made it show longer.
100%. And I'm looking forward to having him next time on the show, and so that he could give us his thoughts on the last scene of Venom, which we didn't cover, but we will definitely cover on the next one so that we can see what's going to happen. Spoiler alert, as we've said that Spider-Man and Venom will be a thing in the Marvel universe, and we got that. And if you haven't seen the movie, I wouldn't encourage you to go watch it, as sad as that is. But at least please watch the after screenshot or the scene after the credits, and then comment on the show of what your thoughts are of Spider-Man, the Tom Holland Spider-Man coming across with Venom. And I think that we should definitely talk about that on the next show. But thank you for sticking with us through this episode and so far. And hopefully you stand with us as we stand with our fellow entertainment people in their strike, soon to be strike or not strike. I appreciate all of your comments on all of our platforms. Please keep giving us love. Subscribe. As Luis says, it doesn't cost anything to you, but it means the world to us when you give us a like, when you interact with us, and we thoroughly appreciate it. I don't know if any other guys have any other thoughts before we say goodbye. So it doesn't look like we do. So thank you again. Hopefully you enjoyed our show, and have a good night or a good day whenever you're listening to this. We wish you the best. Stay safe. And this is Comix, and we are
everywhere.
Thank you. Good night.